In week 7, we are going to be learning a bit about different types of graphing. And to begin with, we will start by learning to plot points. There are 3 things that you will need to know in this first section. One of them is how to plot points. The second one is how to find the quadrant where a point falls. And the third is how to determine whether a point falls on a line. So the first thing we're going to do is look at how to plot a point. We are going to be using something called the coordinate axes, a horizontal and a vertical bar graph. The horizontal axis is called the x-axis, and the vertical axis is called the y-axis. We will be able to use this to represent the position of any set of points. When 2 number lines are used, we form something called a grid, and this is a way of locating any point on the plane. The point could be described as the intersection of the vertical and the horizontal line. This is used actually in archaeology when they are setting up a grid for a dig, and they put a horizontal and vertical set of axes over the land, and then they record on paper or on a computer where things have been found in the dig. So the first example I have is to try to plot the point 3, 4. When you have an ordered pair like that, the first coordinate is called the x-coordinate. It's also called the abscissa. The second is the y-coordinate, and the x always comes before the y, so it is always in alphabetical order. When you plot the point, the x-coordinate will get done first, so you start at the middle of the graph, which is called the origin. That has coordinates 0, 0, and you take the first point, which is a 3. The positive x-axis goes horizontally from the 0 to the right, and the negative x-axis goes to the left. The y-axis from the origin will go up positively and down negatively. So if I'm plotting the point 3, 4, I will go 3 units horizontally on the x-axis. So I will count over from the 0, 1, 2, 3, positively to the right. And then to get to the other point, I will go up 4 units. And in order to indicate the point, I put a dot at the intersection where the 3 and the 4 would be, and I label the point by using the 2 numbers separated by a comma and parentheses around both of them. When I want to plot any point again, this is the instruction. So again, I take the 3, go horizontally to the right, and then 4 vertically up. One caution, when you're writing an ordered pair, you always list the coordinate from the horizontal axis first. We generally use x's and y's. In higher mathematics, you may see different variables. You may see t for time, v for velocity, s for distance, but you always will write the horizontal coordinate first. Here's another example if I want to plot the points -5, 2, and 2, -5. So to do a -5, 2, I first will locate the -5 on the horizontal axis, and that will go 5 units to the left. And then on the y-axis, I will go 2 units up. So here's an example. So for the first point, I'm starting again at the origin, going 5 units to the left, 2 units up, putting the dot there. The other point was 2, 5. In this one, I would go 2 units to the right, and then 5 units down. To determine the coordinates of a point, you find the x value and the y value. So if you have points that you want to identify, you look first at the x coordinate and then at the y. Here's some examples. Point A is, I would look at the x coordinate first, so that was a 4, and the y coordinate is 3, so the point A is the ordered pair 4, 3. For B, the x coordinate is at -3, the y coordinate is at 5, so this point will be -3, 5. For point C, the x coordinate is -4, the y coordinate is -3, so that point will be -4, -3. Point D is a +2 and a -4, so that point's coordinates are parentheses 2, -4. Going to point E, E is right in the middle, so that is also called the origin, and it has coordinate 0, 0. F is a point directly on the x-axis. I still have to go 2 units on the horizontal axis, so the first coordinate is a -2, but I did not move off of that axis, so the second coordinate is a 0. So that coordinate for F is -2, 0. Any point that falls on the x-axis will have the y-coordinate of 0. And then the last one is a point G on the y-axis. This one will have the x-coordinate of 0 because I did not move to the left or to the right, but the y-coordinate of this will be 3. So the point for this is 0, 3. In addition, in the next slide, you will see that they are going to name these quadrants. And again, this coordinate axis is divided up into 4 sections. So each one of them are called a quadrant. The first quadrant is the quadrant in the upper left, right-hand side. That is called quadrant 1. We labeled it with a Roman numeral 1. And then we go counterclockwise. So the next quadrant is the one to the upper left, and that's quadrant 2. The one below that is quadrant 3. And then the one over on the lower right is called quadrant 4. Again, as you see in the slide, you will use Roman numerals to indicate the quadrants. So quadrant 1 is the upper right, quadrant 2, upper left, quadrant 3, lower left, quadrant 4, lower right. So again, sometimes you'll be asked to determine where a point lies. And again, you will look and see which quadrant that falls in. The last thing we'll look at today is how to determine whether a point is a solution of an equation. If we have the graph, we could check that. But if we don't have the graph, we can simply take the ordered pair that we're given and substitute in the values into the proper variable. So if I have a point 2, 1, an ordered pair 2, 1, 2 will be the x-coordinate, 1 will be the y-coordinate. So what I will do is I will take my equation, replace the x with a 2, and I will replace the y with a 1. I will work out the left side of that and see if it comes out to equal the right side. Now the right side is an 8. So in this case, I will multiply 3 times 2 because, again, multiplication will come before addition, and then 2 times 1. So 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. Adding those, you get 8. This means this is true, so 2, 1 is a solution. If the two numbers did not come out to be the same, then we would say it is not a solution. So again, we will always have an ordered pair with 2 variables. And one other note, unless it's otherwise stated, always put the pair in alphabetical order. If you have other than x and y, they will go in alphabetical order. So if you have an equation that has an s and a t, s will go before t, c would go before d, etc. All right, thank you. Hopefully you learned a little bit about plotting points today.